What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics, and today we got a top 10 list of a band that I've never even heard of, the Walkabouts, brought to us by our friend and patron of the channel, Slade Said. Always appreciate you. Before we dive into this thing, let's give a little background on the band that Slade Said actually provided for me. He said another one of his all-time favorites, the Walkabouts from Seattle, Washington. He said he wanted to make a top 10 best songs list. However, he soon realized that it was an impossible task, as so many of our patrons do. It's really hard to nail down a top 10 of an artist you love. So instead, he chose to create some sort of historical document of the band, selecting one song from each album, minus one since they released 11 studio albums, and this is a top 10. Some background info on the band that Slade shared. The Walkabouts was founded in Seattle in 1984, released their first full-length album in 87. The band disbanded in 2015. After having released those 11 studio albums, mostly of original songs plus 2 covers albums. They started off as a folk rock act, heavily inspired by Neil Young, but evolved more into an alternative rock band with influences from country, krautrock rock, folk, and chamber pop. Wow, it's going to be diverse. The band has had a large number of members throughout their career, but founding members Chris Ekman, who does guitars, vocals, and primary songwriter and band leader, and Carla Torgerson, guitars and vocals, have been present all the way. The original lineup included the 2 younger brothers of Chris Ekman. And what I found expanding on their influences, they drew inspiration initially, especially from folk and country, particularly Townes Van Zandt, Neil Young, as Slade said, and Johnny Cash, but also from other types of artists, such as Scott Walker, has some reaction to his songs, Leonard Cohen, a lot of Cohen up on the channel, and Jacques Brel. We have a top 10 of Jacques Brel brought to us by another patron. Their sound was typically rich with string arrangements and keyboards in addition to the standard rock instruments. They achieved commercial success and a strong fan base in Europe, where they had done promotion and extensive touring starting from the early 1990s. They occasionally even made it high on the record charts in countries such as Greece and Norway. Let's jump into this list. Remember, this list is chronological. I'm going to have the lyrics up as always. The music will not be in the reaction, but you can check out the Vimeo link below and watch the entire thing with me. Let's start out with Long Black Veil from the album Cataract in 1989. Slade says, early in their career, the Walkabouts' love for Neil Young was pretty obvious in their sound, and they always played a cover version of his song Like a Hurricane. That's fantastic. At their live shows. The first 2 albums are pretty similar in style, and I've chosen a song from their second album to represent both albums. Long Black Veil is a great folk rock song where the Neil Young influence is very clear, both in the song structure and Chris Ekman's guitar style and sound. Chris is on lead vocals. Thanks as always, Slade Said. Let's check it out. Long Black Veil. You can for sure, I said at the start, there's about a 40-second build on the guitars, really a 2-minute outro on the guitars. Just a fantastic song. You definitely feel the Neil Young influence on this one. I like when the choruses came in, Carla came in, but not in a perfect harmony, almost a sort of a contrasting harmony in there. So I enjoyed that as well. What the song is about, this is a little bit darker song. Beyond the reach, there are rows of tender hooks where nothing seems to justify a second look, and not a soul is found to tear them hooks on down. And then talking about this guy, famous times, tattooed on this burlap skin, and gun cold days shot to pieces above my head. Now tell me, who's that clown who pulled this veil on down to get that long black veil? And we get another small little chorus and back, or a small little verse and then back into the chorus. But just a really well put together song. Enjoy the guitar. Reminded me of some Neil Young early 90s stuff. Now remember, this was 1989, but you can definitely feel the influence there. Great way to start it out. Now we're going to go on to our second selection, Dead Man Rise from the Scavenger album in 1990. Slade said the first track on Scavenger and the lead single of the album. This song shows a huge step forward in production value. The album is probably my favorite in their whole catalog. Puts in parentheses, it was the first I heard by them, so I may be biased due to that. It's always the way it is. The Neil Young influence is less prevalent here, and they have a more original sound. Carla takes the lead vocals on this one. Always love it when you got a man and woman trading off those lead vocals. This gives you a really good, fresh listen to the group. Dead Man Rise. I think the star of this was just the atmosphere, right? The guitar work was fantastic by Chris. Whoever's on the drumming, because they don't have the instrumentalist credits on the Genius, but whoever's on the drumming was fantastic throughout. And then some nice keyboards on the coda, on the outro there. What I really liked about this, when the chorus came in, Chris came in. So last time, on the last song, Carla came in. Now Chris comes in to let you know that he's here. Wake up, dead man, there's a noise you must attend. It will not quit. Wake up, dead man, there's a noise. Your sleep is done. Your secret's out. That's how this thing starts. It really, really gets right at you. Dead Man Rise, you've been away from here too long. Wake Up Dead Man, Fate has spoke. I'm yours to kiss, he's yours to forget. So I don't know if he's holding a grudge with someone, against someone, or she's saying I'm here right now. But it is a really nicely put together song. And now we're going to move on to Sundowner from the album New West Motel in 1993. Slade said New West Motel only came 3 years after Scavenger. To some extent, it's a more varied album. The soft songs are softer, with actual country songs being included, while the harder songs are more harsh and noisy than they were on Scavenger. Sundowner belongs to the latter category and includes a ferocious violin on top of the electric guitars. Just a great heavy folk rock song. For this album, the deal with the U.S. division of Sub Pop Records had been canceled, so they had no distribution in their homeland. Carl was going to sing lead vocals on this one. Wow, that violin was incredible, right? We started with it and we ended with it, and what a song. And it did sound like a Western, right? Almost like a movie Western with that driving percussion and guitar underneath. But she starts out, deaf as a fence post, alone on a winter's night. I'm drunk as a racehorse, but I'll never fade out of sight. There's a wild below me, a wild up in the stars. There's this history behind me, a child gone cold in my arms. So I don't know if she lost a child or if that child is herself, you know, her innocence leaving. But towards the end, she's like, because when the sun comes up and the moon is gone, to the bridge I go, to the bridge I run. And then she's like, and when I reach the edge, onto the bridge I crawl. When I find you, my friend, from the bridge I fall. That is quite the so. I mean, is she taking her life? I don't know, but a really well done song. And now we're going to move on to the fourth song on this chronological list. Remember, Feeling No Pain from the album Setting the Woods on Fire from the next year, 1994. Slade said the album was darker in mood and sound than New West Motel. Feeling No Pain is a pure rock song with some great organ included. No signs of folk or country on this song. The album generally is one of the less folk or country influenced albums. Chris takes the lead here. So he had the lead on the first one, Carl on the last two. So we're going to trade off. Let's check it out. Feeling No Pain. Wow. What a song. You know, at the start and at the end, Chris sounded a little like Nick Cave, man. A total change in the sound. But the organ actually very much worked in this. Slade said it did, but you know, I'm a little hit and miss on organ in rock music. That was fantastic, man. And, you know, almost every one of these, when the chorus comes in, whoever's not the lead singer, Chris or Carl, will come in and just add a little punch to it, man. It's fantastic. What this song is about, it's a little open to interpretation. I think that's actually good. We crash the engine of our ruin. Who will spill the flat cars of our shame? I'm beat up, tired from always doing what I should have done in the first place. That is a great line. And then we get into the whole chorus. Can you still prescribe the remedies and lies till we feel no pain, till we have all risen? Can you help explain the senseless and the vain till the vial's empty? Can you still prescribe the remedies and lies till we feel no pain, till we've all have risen? Then it ends with that Nick Cave type ominous voice of, will you crash the engine of our ruin? Will you give me up to feel no pain? Wow, man. What a song. Might have been my favorite one so far. We'll move on to the halfway point of this. The Light Will Stay On from the album Devil's Road in 1996. Slade said the band had signed to major label Virgin for European distribution. Still no U.S. distribution, however. Now, that's just, I say this all the time on the channel. The U.S. was so far behind on a lot of great musical artists from the 60s all the way through the 90s and probably all the way through to today. It's crazy. They have a deal with Virgin Records in Europe and can get nothing in America. Slade said, and the sound is more orchestral, and by all accounts, more money was spent in the recording studios for this, which makes sense with a major label. The song actually became a small hit for the band. It was in heavy rotation in the European version of MTV. Carla takes vocals. The Light Will Stay On. You know, I've liked the other tracks on here, but this by far is my favorite. This is a fantastic song. Carla gives the vocal performance so far of this list and just the whole atmosphere. And as always, Chris comes in a little bit on the choruses. She says, I go to sleep before the devil wakes, and I wake up before the angels take. All my worldly desires, all my yardsticks of fear, all my secrets untold, all my motives unclear. She goes on, and long after we're gone, the light will stay on. And if you bury me, add 3 feet to it. 1 for your sorrow, 2 for your sweat, 3 for the strange things we never forget. And long after we're gone, the light will stay on. She has a slow delivery of the song, which works perfectly because it pulls you right in. The instrumentation is fantastic. The guitar work, even the drumming low key, is really good, but it just pulls you into the song where you're almost hanging on everything that goes on. Just fantastic. That's the halfway point. Now we're going to go to Lift Your Burdens Up from the album Nighttown in 1997. Slade said, "Lift Your Burdens Up" was Nighttown's equivalent to "The Light Will Stay On." Another gorgeous ballad. Oh, all right, man. With Carla taking the lead vocals again. It didn't do that well in the charts, however. So after this album, the Walkabouts signed with independent label, German label, Glitter House Records, previously the European branch of Sub Pop. Let's check it out. Lift Your Burdens Up. The best written song so far on this list. Really enjoyed that one. It was all Carla. Chris or no one else was really coming on there in this way it should have been. I don't even know how to describe the instrumentation, right? It was very well done. It had a little country-esque, a little bit, but man, what a great song. Been a lot of rain out there, raining blind. Summer's coming slow this year. It's raining blind. So she's using the weather to talk about how her relationship is and how she feels. If you come back tonight, I'll let it fall away. If you come back tonight, you better have the guts to stay. Dreams are heavy, they could use some lifting. Come back now, lay all your burdens down. With a little luck, I'll lift your burdens up. Between my thoughts and my deeds, delusion lies. I've forgotten everything we ever tried, but if you come back tonight, careful what you bring. The sky's unwinding here, twisted like a busted spring. So just a really well-written song. Enjoyed that. It's probably going to end up on my favorites. Now we're going to go on to Drown from the album Trail of Stars in 2000. Slade said, while the album was released on the independent Glitter House Records, the style remained pretty much in the same vein as the previous two records. Drown may be a bit darker in mood, but it's still a lovely ballad sung by Carla. Let's see if we can go 3 for 3 on these Carla tunes. Well, there you have it, Drown. Really like that one. Maybe not quite as well as the previous two, but still a really good song, and boy, does she carry this one. She gets the little motif of the drowning. A shadow of a mystery, the way you can't forget. Still, I believe that love is drawn from the emptiest of wells. Then comes in that chorus. I want to drown again. I want to drown till my thirst is full. My lips are cool. Drown. Then she gets into the nothing verse, right? She says, nothing is forgiven. Nothing reaches heaven. Nothing evens out. And nothing crawls away. Then she gets into this believe verse. But I believe that lightning strikes. I believe that fate has pull. I believe that love is drawn from the emptiest of wells. It's really good songwriting. And then we get a little, the water's clear, I hope you stay, to end it with a little treatment on the voice. So I did really enjoy that one. Now we're going to move on to the longest track on this top 10 list. Actually, the last 3 are the longest songs, but this is the longest one. Life, the movie, from the album Ended Up a Stranger in 2002. And Slade said the production of this album is a bit rougher, and it suits the style they went for on this album. Life, the movie is a great song, one of my absolute favorites, but it's one which probably requires a few listens to really click for the listener. So if it doesn't end up in your top 3 of the songs, I understand why. Chris takes the lead on this song. I always pick a top 3 from each top 10 list, so let's check this one out. Life, the movie. We'll work backwards a little bit. That ending guitar, 1.5 minutes, they're fantastic. Maybe a little My Bloody Valentine, maybe a little Smashing Pumpkins influence, but really kicked up the power of this song. But the delivery of the song and the tone of the song was very quiet as we went along, and Carla popped in on certain lyrics just to make it a little more powerful. But man, Chris did a fantastic job. It's my favorite song he has on here. Why do you whisper? It's true. True lovers whisper, or don't say anything at all. The greatest story never told. Both of us are feeling old, been feeling everything and nothing much. Oh, look beyond. And so he talks about all these things. The aliens coming, the angels coming, but they're leaving. Electric colors cut a swath, but leave no trace. Why do we advertise that we have lost this race? If we were proud, we'd hide. But since we've lost, watch ourselves again. Let's call the whole thing off. Life, the movie ends. When the villain says that he will apprehend, but then rides off instead, let us drown in peace. Life, the movie, showing 6½ days a week. Life, the movie, ending when they kick us hard to make sure we're dead and not just dreaming. So all of these fantastic lyrics are in here. I said it during the reaction, a little Nick Cave-ish at times as well. As their career went on, or at least the songs that Slade said is sharing, Chris sounds a little Nick Cave-ish on some of them in a very good way. It super works for this song. Really enjoyed it. I don't need multiple listens of it. I'm sold on it on the first listen. Now we're going to go to Whisper from the Acetylene album in 2005. Slade said this album continued the style from Ended Up a Stranger, but it's even more gritty and angry. Not a lot of nice ballads or country folk to be found here. This song is a fine representative of the album. Carla is on vocals. Whisper, what a fantastic song. Carla is a tour de force on this one. Starts very slow. Baby, baby, foolish baby, wipe your foolish blame. Crazy, crazy, crazy baby, wipe your foolish blame. I've been thinking about this all week, how we were lost on a losing streak. Armed guards at the last mini mart. Chris comes in on that line. Shooting it wide of the mark. Roadblocks going up in the dark. High-rise towers take a tight rope walk. Truce a whisper, a shaky whisper, chase it, then it's wrong. Time is panic, hushed and rankled, you feel it, then it's gone. And then all these other things. And then the song goes way down, right? It's got all these nice tempo changes, but it slows way down. And then right before shout, it goes in. I love it, man. It starts to build the guitar. Got nothing to show for this. And then the outro, I'm going to say we got a little Smashing Pumpkins guitar influence on the outro of that one. Really enjoyed that one. And now we're on to the final track, that Every River Will Burn from Travels in the Dustland in 2011. Slade said it took the band 6 years to release a follow-up to Acetylene, and Travels in the Dustland turned out to be the band's swan song. But what a great way to go out. A very good album all the way through and more varied than the previous album. It's in my top 5 of all Walkabout songs. Quite an achievement so late in their career. Carla takes the lead. Every River Will Burn. Interested in that it went all the way through. There was no guitar outros like on the previous 2 songs, yet the guitar was fantastic throughout. Little runs here. Not a lot of lyrics to a song that's 6.5 minutes long, but it just works. And some I haven't mentioned throughout it. I mentioned it on a couple songs, but the drumming is fantastic on here. It's different drummers as the time goes on, but she's talking about your prediction wasn't very hard. Mexico ain't in the cards. Never really was. Smell the diesel, smell the smoke. Traded water for their dope. Was that some kind of joke? Then we get the whole every river will burn, every valley will dry. Save it for the afterlife. And every mountain will slide and the dustlands will cry. Save it for the afterlife. And then I like this. If I said less, it would be a lie. A sugarcoat so you could try and finally close your eyes. Wow. And then it ends with walls of this city red will go at any cost. I have started out to find what we have lost. I have started out. Really enjoyed that one. I can see why it's one of your favorites, Slade said. And that's a great segue into my favorites. This last tune's going to be on my honorable mention. Every River Will Burn will not make my favorites, but my favorites are going to be, and I think I'm going to have a lot of them here, The Light Will Stay On. Just fantastic. And Lift Up Your Burdens. Drown gets an honorable mention there. Whisper is going to be a favorite, and I guess I'll go with those, although Life the Movie would be an honorable mention as well. Super enjoyed this list. Like I said, never even heard of the Walkabouts. I hope some of you are joining us that are just regular subscribers, never heard of them either, and you can discover this music. Slade said, thank you for everything that you bring. Thank you for this one, man, and the great write-ups, and just bringing us some music that I'd never heard of. You did the same thing last month with King's X. Greatly enjoyed that one. If you want to support us in any way, like Slade said, check out the Patreon link below or the one on the end screen that is about to hit. Until next time, guys, I will see you.